So the Bardo Thödol was not only the Guru Rinpoche, he passed down to the Tisong Detsen and all the other Ishi Chogyal. But before Guru Rinpoche, so there was all the other Rigzin, from Vajradhara all the way passed down to Guru Rinpoche. And during the life of Guru Rinpoche, so he hidden this teaching as a terma in Gombo Tarji Rita. So it's in Gambo, the mountain. So later the Teton Karma Lingpa, he rediscovered it. So he discovered this terma of Bardo Thödol around the age of 15. So he received the lung, the prophecy, in his meditation. So then he went to Gampo Tarjir and he discovered this text. So the Bardo Thödol was passing down to the Teton Karma Lingpa's son, the Nida Chuji, and until the three generation, his grandson, Namkha Chuji Jatso. So from the Namkha Chuji Jatso of Teton Karma Lingpa's great son, so from there the Bardo Thödol was widely, until the three generation, it was like a only transmission, one person to another person. And from the Teton Namkha Chuji Jatso, so from there, so it was a widely transmitted, the teaching of Bardo. And I received this teaching, so the both from the Dzogchen master, from the Gemang monastery, all the transmission, and as well as the Surmang, the Kaji, especially the Tungpa Rinpoches, the previous Tungpa Rinpoches, his cousin, who have all the transmission. So I received from the both of these two teachers. So let's go to the teaching. And the teaching of Bardo Thödol. Okay, so let me read the Tibetan text and make it as also oral transmission of Bardo Thödol, and gently also explaining of the Bardo Thödol. Sabchu shitu gongba rangdu le chuni bardoe saldep Thödol chimo shukso chuku nawa thae oba me longko longchu joko pema shitoe la pema jungni tulko dobe gun kusum lama namla chanchalos. So this Bardo Thödol is profound. This 100 deity practice is also combined in this Bardo Thödol, the 42 peaceful deity and 58 wrathful deities. The Sambhoga Kaya in the Bardo of Dharmadhatu. So this, all the 100 deities are not other than your own Dharmakaya. And that Dharmakaya, you will see in the pure light of Amitabha, and Sambhogakaya as a rawful and peaceful 100 deities. And then the Nirmanakaya as a Guru Rinpoche in order to liberate the sentient beings. So, in Bardo of dying, you will see this all clear light is not other than Amitabha. And Bardo of Dharmata, you will see the 100 deities is not other than the Sambhogakaya. And Bardo of becoming, you will see the Padmasambhava who will protect you, guide you. And matter of fact, this Dharmakaya, Sambhogakaya, and Nirmanakaya is not other than your own nature of mind. Your nature of mind is manifesting as a Dharmakaya, as a Sambhogakaya, as a Nirmanakaya. So that is what it mentioned here in the Bardo Thödol. So this Nirmanakaya, Sambhogakaya, and Dharmakaya, inseparable, is Lama. And Lama here means the nature of mind. So I prostrate to the Lama nature of mind. Namjur Dingnam Bardo Thödol Top Thödol Chimmo. Wait a second. Thödol Chimmo. Tela Tönsum Te Mondu Muji Jedang Sumye Tos. Now, in order to going to explain the Bardo Thödol, there are the beginning of the Bardo Thödol and the middle of the Bardo Thödol and the conclusion. Tangbu Mondu Lujian Tolwai Tiji Rimba Thongman Yamso Long Wangbo Rabno teaching a Bardo, Te Madul na Chika a Bardola, Poa Temba, Rangdul Yamso Long, Ten in Namjo Dingnam Yepardo, Te Madul na Chuni Bardola, Thödol Chimotelan in the cheers. So if someone study carefully this Bardo Thödol and practice, so one can liberate while you're alive. And if you are an advanced practitioner or have so much good karma, just by hearing this Bardo teaching, you might liberate. Or you will definitely liberate. So otherwise, in the time of Bardo of dying, because you already heard the Bardo Thödol, so you must liberate. Because of enough practice. Otherwise, some people also do a poa in the time of dying that also help you to liberate by the poa practice or poa. So the people who have practiced for some time the poa during their life, so time of death, when you practice poa or someone help you to do poa, that will definitely work and definitely you will liberate. Otherwise, many practitioners, it will be beneficial when you read this Bardo Thödol while you are dying. Already you are dead. So during the 49 days, if some of your Dharma friends help you to read the Bardo Thödol will beneficial for the dying person or who is in the Bardo. So regarding here the power, tela tangbun namjur chiwa takbanams. The power will be a best time when you know you are definitely going to die. If there's some sign of the death is occur, so if it is the right timing, if you did the power to the deceased person, or you yourself, when you are dying, you do a power for yourself on the right timing, so that will be almost like a self-introducing the nature of mind. Tena ngebar chewege tatsangwege tse powa temba rangdul da parchiaos. Te powa temna ne thödol lomagos. So if you are the one or the one great master did a powa for a diseased person who is dying, and if powa works, if powa success, you don't need to read the Bardo Thödol, the Bardo text. So otherwise, then you have to read the Bardo text. Kal de powa matem na thödol de roecha da tala salwala parchaos. So if you are not confident with your powa, or if you are not confident with the particular teacher who did a powa, then better you sit next to your parents or your relatives or dharma friends or whomever who is right now dying, then close to this dying friend or dharma friend, and start reading this Bardo text will be beneficial for the dying person, especially if she is a practitioner. If the body is not there, somebody already died, no matter in the war or in somewhere else, flooding, earthquake, so they didn't find the body. So you can go to his or her room if you are close by, where he used to stay, and you can start to read the Bardo text, even though the body is not there. But mostly when people die, they come back to their house. So you can think of him or visualize, and you start to read the Bardo text for him or her. So I think it's good that if you have a text of Bardo Thödol, the Tibetan book of this liberation, so then it's easier when I explain, so you can go through the text. Because I'm just explaining the sentence by sentence. Namshi kugla dundu nyembar mixing labar chavos. And if you are not near his house, or you're somewhere else totally far from his place, and the body is not there, then you can just visualize all the Buddha, Bodhisattva, Buddhas, and requesting the Buddha, Bodhisattvas that, or blessing of Buddha, Bodhisattva, Lama, or the truth of Lama, Buddha, Bodhisattva, so that wherever the consciousness or the soul of the dead person, so may he, she come to this, because they don't need to take a flight, they don't need to travel. It's just one thought. They can just arrive wherever, no matter thousands of kilometers or tens of thousands of kilometers. They can come anytime just by thinking of them. So you can request the blessing of the Lamas, Buddha, Bodhisattva, so that may that particular soul, consciousness, come in front of me so that I can read the Bardo text for you. So, Tedu Nyedu Tang, similar Zebeke Zashi, Cho Mugetam, Menga Yen doing the Murungwake Tamta goes. Royona Chiu Cheni, Uk Machigi Samso, Lamam Chedo some Teba, Yeba, Yitimba, Tocheba, Lasso, what now, Chumare, some Latte. That means when the time of someone died, your parents, family, relatives, colleagues, dharma friends, when they die, so if you are too much attached to that particular person, can be your husband, wife, children, parents, and when you cry a lot of missing him or missing her, and so that's very natural that you feel sad and you want to cry. But we can't say, oh, don't cry. We can't say, okay, now let's not feel sad, because feel sad is very natural phenomena or reaction. But the most important thing here, Guru Rinpoche, the Padmasambhava is emphasizing, if you consciously, unconsciously, if you send this kind of thoughts, why you left too early, I am alone, and I can't live without you. So if those thoughts arise, that will distract and disturbing the disease, the dying person, and especially who is now in the Bardo, they can hear your thoughts. They can hear your thoughts, feeling. And as soon as your thoughts are like, why you left too early, I want you to come back, I feel alone, how I can live without you. Now that disease, the dying person so desperately want to come back and can't come back because she's already died. And that is so much suffering for the dying people. And when you said, now how can I live alone? How can I live without you? I'm finished. So now that dying person might be your parents, might be your wife or husband, so they feel even more painful, even more suffering. Now she start to kind of thinking that because of me, now you will be suffer. So the diseased person will be more confused, more suffering. So that's why here the Padmasambhava said, you have to consciously, verbally or non-verbally, mentally, you have to, say it that you don't have to worry, you don't have to feel bad about it, I can handle myself and I will take care of our home, don't worry about it. So you have to communicate with this disease, the dying person, who is already dead, who is already in the Bardo. So you have to really consciously send a message, because he have this the supernatural power that he can hear your thoughts. And if he or she felt that you're okay, and you can handle yourself and handle the family, and she feel very peaceful. She feel very comfortable. She feel very joyful. So that way, that disease will feel more peace, more ease, more ready to take this journey of Bardo. So then it's easy to guide him or her. If she is too much attached to home, too much worry about you, and even he or she feel guilty of that dying, because now you are sad, and you are saying that you can't live without him, and you are saying that I will be suffering whole life, and that makes him or her worse, that journey. So that's why it's feeling sad is very natural, and maybe cry is also very natural, but consciously you should not, or consciously, unconsciously, you should not send a negative message to him or her. That's a very important message for the dying people. Menga so royona chiwu che ne namu ma che ge samso lama am che do sam. So if the dying person is next to you, so you can, if he or she is willing to listen the Bardo teaching, so like if doctors say now he or she is like just have a few days, or maybe not sure, maybe soon he will going to die, or if you are dying, so you can request your Dharma friend to read, or if you can record it, you can listen. So it would be nice that you recorded your own voice, the Bardo text, and your write a will, then maybe your children or your husband, that if I am dying, so please play this recording in front of my dying bed. That I mean, maybe Dharma friends are so busy, and lamas are even more busy. So then you can just play your own voice, so it will be more reminding, of journey of Bardo when you listen this your own recording of Bardo text. So here it is what it says. You can listen the Bardo teaching, even before you live, if that will be a very, very beneficial, because some people, they are not a Buddhist and they don't want it to listen, and they don't want it to die, and if you play or if you read the Bardo Thödol, they will be even more aggressive, they will be more angry, they will feel even sad, and that's not beneficial. It's working against their will, so you should not read. So Lama Chedo, okay. Thödol ngoyo shepani kuncho sumla shopan jor na jachimbo bulwe majo na mikpa ten kang jor wa shamla iji pado meba tulba chö teni sanje da chancho semba nam randa dembe molam te len nam len duna sum. So now it is important, either you are reading the Bardo Thödol or somebody else is reading a Bardo Thödol for you. So or you are doing for your parents or your relatives or your friends. So it's important that maybe buy flowers and offering, do a grand offering to Buddha, Bodhisattva, the Lama, the 7th branch of offering, the flower, the incense, so make a grand offering. If possible, that money is, maybe belongs to the deceased person, so that the merit will go directly to the deceased person. so do a grand offering. Or if you don't have anything to offer, then you just have to visualize and do a grand visualization of offering. Offering to Guru Rinpoche, offering to Lamas, offering to all the Buddha Bodhisattvas. Tene Thödol Chimmote Len Dun Nam Sumso Kaptan Jarwa Labanes. And then you can start to read this Bardo teaching 3 times or 7 times. It depends on the time you have, or 1 time. Read it for the diseased person, dying person. Chika Bardo lo ozol ngoytre pada chuni Bardo la ngoytre saldev chimmo ta pada sipa Bardo la ngalgo gakpa tem pada sumos. Now, in the time of dying, so through the Bardo text, you have to, the beginning of 3 days before dying, you can read, if she is still alive, not yet dead, you can read all the texts, from Bardo of dying, Bardo of dharmata, Bardo of becoming. You can read all the contents. And the time of dying and death, during 3 days and 3.5 days. So it's important to introduce the dying, the disease, who is already dead, who is already in this the state of clear light. So introducing the clear light through the Bardo of dying. So there is the section, there is a introduction by Guru Rinpoche, so toward the diseased person, the time of dying, Bardo. So it's introduce the nature of clear light during that time. And after 3.5 days, the Bardo of dharmata begin. So then you can introduce that 100 deities, the peaceful and ruffled deities, and how they manifest out of 5 Buddha family and 5 wisdom, and slowly introducing they are not separate from you, they are your own nature of mind. And introducing the Sambhogakaya in the time of Bardo of dharmata. And after 2 weeks, now the Bardo of becoming, Sipa Bardo, is beginning. And you have to introduce how to block the unclean, the womb, or reborn, and how to reborn in Pure Land. So in the Bardo of becoming, so you have to start to introduce how to become in a Pure Land, how to reborn in the right parents. The parents are the yogi, yogini, the practitioner. So there's a whole introduction part there. You have to do introduction. So today we are beginning with the first Bardo, the Bardo of clear light, Bardo of dying, Chikaya Bardo. So in Chikaya Bardo, normally we have to introduce the clear light. So clear light is not other than your own nature of mind. And it's always there, 24, 365 days. But in the time of death, you will be more sensitive, because right after the death, you don't have anymore this physical body, and you don't have all this channel and wind. So only the mind, and especially the mind is not duality in the beginning of 3 days, 3.5 days. When the time of death, the 5 elements totally dissolve, and then the white bindu and red bindu, which is creating a duality, that comes back to heart chakra right after the dying. So that red bindu and white bindu from your forehead, red bindu from your navel chakra, and when they comes up and goes down, the white bindu, and in the heart chakra, as soon as they becoming a one, they dissolve into one. And that is the moment where the Bardo of dying began. So 3.5 days, you are totally into, without any perception, without any feeling, without any thoughts. It's almost like a deep sleep, but in a deep sleep, still there is a duality, still there is a ignorance. But in the time of right after the death, when white bindu, red bindu become a union, it's a time of literally you're going back to the natural state of mind. And there is no ego, there is no duality. And that is the purest natural state of mind in a naked form, and right after the death. And many Dzogchen master, Mahamudra master, they are taking advantage of that naked, direct mind without any other things. And that is the very quickest way to realize the nature of mind and liberating from the samsara and achieving the dharmakaya enlightenment state. So that is the now Chikaye Bardo of dying, the clay light. Tere kangza kowa sang yang ngo matwe padang, tue jang komri chungwa nam jang, so ye jiwo nyamti shu nyong wegi rik tamche la te dabe shi yo sal ngo tue te bardo e meba yar ji sangtal du chuko jiwa meba tobos. So if you are the deceased, you are the dying person, and while you are alive, you have been practicing Mahamudra or Dzogchen a lot, and in the time of dying, if someone helps you to read the Bardo of dying, the introducing the nature of mind, introducing the clear light, so that will work as a condition, the cause and condition, because you already have a good foundation, you already have been practicing, because sometimes the time of death is quite strong, so it might little bit distracted, but someone help you to read the clear light introducing, so immediately you come back to your practice, and immediately you will be in that very moment, you will realize the nature of mind, and that very moment, so you get the Dharmakaya enlightenment. It's very fast. But those people, if some of you, never practice Dzogchen or Mahamudra or nature of mind, and you are not familiar with this, the nature of mind practice. So, and in that case, that the reader is reading, introducing the clear light to you, but you are not really getting it because it's for you, it's a very foreign language. It's very new for you. I mean, you are not used to it. So, in that case, we have to repeat so many times so that almost like you have to relearn. And the interesting part is you are already in that state. It's a very direct, in the time of Bardo of dying, when the white bindu and red bindu collapse in heart chakra, and you are in the very naked, natural state of mind. So you are already in the experience. You just need to introduce. Otherwise, even though it's a clear light, but because of not knowing or because of lack of merits or because of too much negative karma, the clear light, in a reality, it's a clear light. It's a reality, it's a nature of mind, but you perceive as a darkness. You perceive as a kind of an unconscious, useless state of mind. And literally, kind of you are wasting that state where one can fully enlightened. So Guru Rinpoche here emphasized it's important that with the great compassion, you have to keep reintroduce the nature of mind, and because in the text there is already the how to introduce the nature of mind. So you have to keep repeating with a great compassion to that diseased person so that she will understand what you are talking about. And as soon as when he or she back to the natural state of mind and instantly recognize what you have been introducing him or her, even though they are totally beginner, even though they are not Buddhist, so still you can liberate someone the time of dying. So Dablugne rangi tishu ge zawela ma zomna cho hino te mazomna ni ani chedo damsik jikpadan te ya mazomna ni chuju jikbe gi chenye dambada te na ya kaya mazomna igi te da taglas 6 salwa te sheba jigia chal. So now in the Bardo of dying, the Chikai Bardo, so there is a text where the Lama, the Guru Rinpoche, introduce you the nature of mind through the clear light. So it would be best if your own Lama can read it for you, because that way it's a very direct connection. Otherwise, if it is not possible, then you can request, the other Lama to do introducing the nature of mind, the time of dying. Or if that is also impossible, then your Dharma friend or someone who can just read this text, who can read it, because the content is already there. The Guru Rinpoche already introduced the nature of mind in this Bardo text, in the Bardo of dying. So let him or her read that paragraph, and you can request to read repeatedly, because you might be distracted by other things, so that repetition of this introducing the nature of mind, the time of dying, so that will kind of help you to concentrate on a particular subject of clear light, and that will help you to not to distract to other things because it's a repeating and it's very near to your ear. She is reading it. And there is a blessing of all the Guru Rinpoche and all the great masters, So, once the introducing the clay light as a nature of mind, when it is you realize and you are introduced and you realize in that very moment when you left the consciousness or the soul, or when that very moment the white bindu and red bindu come to a union in heart chakra, and you will directly experience, the experience here in a sense, not like there is a subjective and objective dualistic experience, but more like a self-realizing that the nature of mind. So it's good that you continue reading the Introducing the Nature of Mind by Guru Rinpoche, even before she is dying. If the best time is when she is stopped breathing, the outer breath is stopped. So that is the best moment to introduce the nature of mind to the disease. Introducing the nature of mind to disease is Dharmakaya Poa. Because as soon as she is dying, as soon as she stopped breathing, the outer breath is stopped. What is happening internally is this: all the karmic wind are going back to the center channel in our dhatu. And then there's only wisdom. When your outer breath stops, the white bindu and red bindu are coming back to the heart chakra. And then that very moment, all the inner wind are going back to the center channel. And in the center channel, there's only wisdom wind. And that moment, if you can introduce the nature of mind to that dying or diseased person, when the outer breath is stopped, it doesn't mean she's already dead. He's not dead yet. The gross outer breath is stopped, but still she's still alive. And there is a very small gap of time that the inner wind is going back to center channel and joining with the wisdom wind, and the wisdom wind are kind of forcing to the white bindu and white bindu and red bindu to becoming a union. Because why the red bindu and white bindu are in the center channel, they are separated while we are alive because of the karmic wind. As soon as outer breath stops, the life force will stop, the karmic wind will slowly stop, and that means all the wind will go back to the natural, the wisdom wind in the center channel in our dhatu. And as soon as only the wisdom wind is left, and naturally the white bindu and red bindu don't have a choice not to come back and union, because the wisdom wind will not become an obstacle for white bindu and red bindu to be in the union. The karmic winds are the obstacle. The karmic winds are separating the white bindu and red bindu while we are alive. So that is the reason, that process of when the karmic wind coming back to the central channel. So that time, if you read the paragraph of that introducing the nature of mind to the diseased person, Shepa Wosal Ngotu Taldo Hlagir Charos, here Guru Rinpoche said, and that moment, it will be almost like in the right time, you give the right medicine, in the right time, because there's no time for distraction. It was a very short time. So in that very moment, the dying person have no choice but to realize the Dharmakaya, the enlightened state, and liberate from the samsara in that very moment. And especially if she is a practitioner, that's even greater helpful. And there are more greater chances to realize. Teni lung lo de za yun do tue ne Bardo inhawa lamje charwe za yun do mashurwe ke barder dapaos. So, the introducing the nature of mind to a dying person, in that there's a very short period of time when there is this white bindu and red bindu are in a union in heart chakra and with only the wisdom wind. And see, if he or she has a good karma, good the tsalung or channel practice, then it might stay for some days, 3 days, 3.5 days. Or some master, they can even prolong for 1 week. We say tukdam, the rest in that union in for 1 week, even month, in order to, kind of demonstration to the sentient beings. But sometimes, many sentient beings, they even can't stay for 1 second. It's a very, very short. If you don't have enough karma, if your negative karma is too much, maybe the time of white bindu and red bindu in the union will be very it's almost like a 1 second time, just gone. And for some people, maybe 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 hour. It really totally depends on the individual. So the Guru Rinpoche here is saying, so that outer breath is stopped, and not yet like a karmic wind come back. If the karmic wind come back means that there is a time of the soul or the mind or the consciousness is coming out from the body. So in that very moment, what is happening is this, that the white bindu and red bindu are again separating. They are not able to union for too long. And they will kind of, because of the too much, the karmic force in your alaya consciousness, and that force will kind of push and kind of separate, and in that very moment, the karmic wind again come back, and from the right channel and left channel, that life force or the consciousness, the dualistic consciousness or the dualistic soul, in the mental body will come out from either from right nostril, left nostril, or the lower part of the body, or it depends. Again, depend on the individual. And that once he or she is already kind of come back from the union of right bindu and red bindu, that means he or she is already starting the second bardo, the bardo of dharmata, where he or she don't know that he is already dead, or she is already dead, and she will go back to her parents' home, or her wife homes, or children's homes, or wherever he think he have to go back. So he will go back, and all the second bardo begin. So during this, the time is so short. For some people, it's just a fraction of time. And that moment, if you are able to introduce, that would be the best. Once she's come back and the mental body or the soul come back from the body, and now it's so difficult to introduce the nature of mind. because now he or she is already started believing I am exists separately from all the others. The duality is too strong to introduce the nature of mind. Okay, so that's all for today, and we will continue from the next Sunday. So I would suggest you to get the text in your own language and go through it, because I'm going through the text, so, and you can preview or you can revise yourself, So that way, when I explain, so you can understand in a more deeper level,